Okay, how do you actually live as a new me without snapping back, freezing, or feeling like an imposter? It's about becoming who you're becoming, embodiment, capacity, and living without the old costume. Let me tell you what no one prepares you for. The hardest part of transformation isn't letting go of who you were. It's learning how to live without the armor. Because once you stop people pleasing, once you stop over explaining, and once you stop shrinking to stay safe, there's a moment where you stand there and think, okay, now what? No script, no familiar role, no automatic response, just you. And that moment, that pause between who you were and who you're becoming, is where most people panic and revert. Not because they want to go back, but because they don't yet trust themselves to stay. So if you've been feeling awkward, exposed, unsure, or almost like an imposter in your own growth, this episode is for you. Because embodiment isn't confidence, it's capacity. Now, if you're new here, hi, I'm Cherry. I'm a spiritual life coach, numerologist, and energy alchemist. And I work with people who are done surviving on autopilot and are ready to live from their truth without burning out, betraying themselves, or disappearing in the process. This episode is part 4, the final part of the January series on grieving who you were and making space for who you're becoming. Now, to recap, in part 1, we named the grief. In part 2, we explored the nervous system. In part 3, we released identity without rejecting the past. And today, we talk about how to actually live as the new you. Not perform her, not force her, but actually inhabit her. So why does the new you feel awkward at first? Let's normalize something immediately. The new version of you will feel clumsy before she feels natural, because she doesn't have reflexes yet. The old you, she was fast, automatic, and effective. She knew exactly what to say, how to respond, and how to manage energy. The new you pauses, feels, chooses, and that pause can feel terrifying. That's not regression. That's consciousness. Embodiment means you're no longer running pre-programmed responses. You're present, and presence takes time to stabilize. So if you've caught yourself thinking, I don't know who I am anymore, I feel exposed, I feel slower than I used to be, that's good. That means you're no longer disassociating through life. You're here. So let's move on to the death of the costume. Here's something I want you to really hear, and this will sting a little. The old identity wasn't just behavior, it was armor. People-pleasing wasn't kindness, it was protection. Overfunctioning wasn't strength, it was a form of control. Being the strong one wasn't empowerment, it was avoidance of vulnerability. So when you stop wearing that costume, you don't just feel free, you feel naked. And that nakedness requires safety, not external approval, internal trust. So I want you to stand with your feet hip width apart. Let your arms hang loose. Gently bend your knees and straighten them again. Small movements. And then I want you to say, I don't need armor to exist. I am allowed to take up space without proving anything. Notice where your body resists. That's where capacity is still building. So I want to talk about why you don't need confidence yet. This is where social media lies to people. It tells you that the healing version of you is confident, bold, and unbothered. No, the embodied version of you is regulated. She feels discomfort and strays. She feels fear, but yet doesn't abandon herself. She feels uncertainty and doesn't rush to explain. Confidence will come later, but capacity has to come first. And capacity is built by staying present when the old urges to perform shows up. Now, the old you lived reactively, scanning, adjusting, managing. The new you lives internally referenced. She asks, what do I feel? What do I need? What's true for me? And yes, at first, that feels slow, messy, and uncertain. But that's because you're learning to trust yourself instead of outsourcing safety. So I'd like you to just sit comfortably. Close your eyes if it feels safe, and ask yourself quietly, what does my body need right now? Don't answer mentally, just wait in the silence. Even if the answer is, I don't know yet, that's information. This is how embodiment begins. So what do you do when the old you tries to come back? Let's be clear, the old identity will knock, especially under stress. Not because you're failing, but because she's familiar. Your job isn't to slam the door. It's to say, thank you, I've got it from here. That response, calm, firm, but compassionate, is what integration looks like. Not erasure, not war, but leadership. The new you is quieter, and this part surprises people. The new you doesn't announce herself. She doesn't explain, and she doesn't convince. She chooses. She leaves. She rests. She says no without a speech. And yes, some people won't like that, but that's not your problem anymore, because your nervous system is no longer organized around approval. It's organized around self-trust. So I want you to stand tall, hand on your hips or your heart, breathe in through your nose and out through the mouth, and say, I trust myself to stay with me. Say it again. I trust myself to stay with me. This isn't affirmation, it's orientation. So what does it feel like to live as the new you? And what does that actually look like? Because it looks like pausing instead of reacting, feeling instead of fixing, choosing rest without guilt, letting silence exist and not chasing closure. It's subtle and it's powerful. And once you stabilize here, you don't go back. As I close this video, I want to name this moment. This episode completes a 4-part January series on grief, identity, and becoming. In part 1, we named the grief of who you were. In part 2, we understood the nervous system's need for safety. In part 3, we released identity without rejecting the past. And in this part, we embodied who we're becoming. There is nothing left to fix, only something to live. So if this series has resonated, if you felt seen, steadied, or quietly changed, make sure you subscribe so this work can keep unfolding with you. And if you know that you're ready to deepen this, especially around boundaries and self-trust, and no longer abandonment of yourself, this is exactly the work I do. And there are 3 free freebies down in the description box below for you to dive into to start this journey. Not to turn into someone else, but to help you live as who you already are. Without armor, without apology, and without fear. You are not becoming someone new. You're finally staying. And that's the work. So I hope you get a lot out of the freebies down in the description box and this series. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.